Hello everyone, I am Taureor and welcome to this week's Hearts of Iron 4 video. Now this is unfortunately not a challenge. Instead, it's a strategy guide, which I hope you'll find interesting and useful. Now why is it not a challenge? I am working on one, but I was unable to finish it on time due to unforeseen circumstances, which you probably don't want to hear about. Well, some of you might want to hear about it. Essentially, for the first time in years, I have started regularly exercising and going to the gym, and the unforeseen circumstance is that everything hurts, which is of course normal when you start after a long break, but it also disrupts my workflow a bit. So don't worry, I'm actually working on a few challenges right now, but it's going to take me a little longer to finish the next one. So instead, today I bring you a guide to avoiding guarantees from the Allies in Hearts of Iron 4. Enjoy! How many times have you tried to conquer something only to be blocked by the Allies? Well, I'm going to show you how I deal with that problem. There are 5 basic things you can do to justify on other countries without the Allies guaranteeing them. Justify early, justify when the Allies are busy, attack communists or fascists because these will not get guaranteed, force the Allies to spend their political power elsewhere, or finally join the Allies. Now you won't be able to justify war goals against neutral countries once you join the Allies because the boss's diplomacy will override your own diplomacy. However, you will maintain the war goals you have already justified, and alliance trumps guarantee. So if I were, for example, to justify a war goal on Romania, and Romania would get guaranteed by the Allies, then while I already have the war goal, I quickly join the Allies and then attack. If that can be done, then they do not defend them because I am part of that alliance. Now this particular one will rarely be useful, but I want to put it out there. So first thing you need to do to justify a war goal is have a proper ideology. Democratic will not be able to justify on, let's say, innocent countries, and unaligned has a limit of 50% world tension. Now, there are ways around this, like focus war goals or, for example, Polish revanchism, which reduces the war goal tension limit. However, normally you will need to switch either to communism or fascism. Of course, both these ideologies, both fascism and socialism, have caused millions of deaths, but this is just a game. So let's get switching. The first step to changing your ideology is usually getting a fascist demagogue or a communist revolutionary. I will usually go with the fascist demagogue because fascism is superior to communism in this game because it gives you better puppets. So let's get a focus that will give us some extra political power and then get a fascist demagogue. Now that we have enough political power, we can hire a fascist demagogue. And well, you could just as well go for a communist revolutionary. And the game has changed a bit in that regard because now you have to follow these decisions to switch government. So now if we wait a little bit, I mean I could start another focus, but let's just speed it up by not doing that. Then you can do open up political discourse. That will enable the referendum. Now we can get other decisions, but in general we want to hold the national referendum as soon as possible, and that is possible at 50%. There are decisions that will speed the whole thing up, but I would argue against civil support. But discredit government can be used, but it should only be used once you have reached 40% support, because the higher the support, the slower it goes. So now we wait until 40% fascist support, and then we do the decision to discredit the government. Keep in mind that you will need a lot of political power to do these things, so avoid switching other stuff. Now I could do Polish revanchism, because that is a great focus and lets you justify war goals faster, but I'm not going to do it just to make sure this video is relevant to pretty much every country, because, you know, that changes things a little bit. So I'll just leave it, and I'm not researching anything or whatever. We're just waiting for the war goals. Now, it would be nice if we could get some support events like threat of communism, but we'll manage even without that. One thing to note, in general, I would say avoid taking too much because you'll need the political power, but yeah, continue doing focuses, and if you have a silent workhorse, or an old guard guy, oh, we have an old guard guy, yeah, you might want to hire those because they will increase your political power income. With fascist support at 25%, I think we can start getting some of the support events, or maybe it's 30, something along those lines, and it's very similar for communism. Fascist assault divisions form, that's a good thing. It will speed things up a bit for us. Anti-Comintern pact, yeah, sure, whatever. We won't be friends with Germany in this hypothetical scenario. Now, once we reach 40% of support, we'll be able to take action. Right, we have reached 40% popularity. It's time to take action. First, we discredit the government, which will reduce the ruling party popularity by 10%. Have a look. Now we're at 47 because there's still some democracy. Right, I haven't taken that into account. Yeah, we'll need to wait a little bit longer. Also, I have a lot of political power because I'm not doing focuses in the interest of time, but if I was doing focuses, I suppose I should have done an authoritarian. Whatever, if I was doing focuses, this would go faster. But Poland has a unique focus tree, so I don't really want to use that to distort the general picture. And we're at 50% support. Now we can hold a referendum. In a moment, yes. Hold national referendum. And that just switches our ideology and we're fascist now. And we can start justifying war goals. It is 1937. It is early enough in the game that the Allies should not interfere with our plans, but it will also depend on who we justify on. For example, if I were to justify on Czechoslovakia and Romania, which are both big countries and Czechoslovakia is democratic also, then they would get guarantees. However, if I choose slightly smaller targets, we'll be fine, or you can choose one big target. For example, if we are playing as Germany, we could start justifying on Poland immediately, like delay your focuses until you start justifying and then, go for it. And Poland would not get guaranteed, but just one target. If we were to do that against France, France would get guaranteed because they're big. And that's pretty much how this works. Keep in mind, I don't know how exactly the AI decides that. I am kind of reverse engineering it from what I see in the game. Now, let's say I want to expand southwards to Romania and Yugoslavia and Greece. So, for example, Greece is guaranteed by Romania, so I can use that, declare on Greece, and have to fight Romania. But we'll have to get to Greece somehow. We could do Yugoslavia or we could do Bulgaria. Yugoslavia is bigger, so it is a more juicy target. It is guaranteed by Czechoslovakia, but if you're on historical focuses, that will be revoked by the trust in the West focus. Anyway, so let's suppose we want to conquer Romania, Yugoslavia, and Greece. It should be possible before the Allies start intervening because the world tension is low enough. Now, if we click to justify war goals, always when you do this, check here if they have an advisor that makes it more difficult to justify the war goals. And they don't. And Yugoslavia, they also don't. Now, we want to declare both of those wars at the exact same moment. That is crucial, because if you declare one war, the world tension will go up, and then you might pass the threshold, and the Allies will guarantee your other target. That's not what we want to happen. We want to declare them at the same time. To do this, we must justify one war goal, justify another war goal. See, this goes up. It takes longer for this second one, because one is already ongoing. But now, we cancel the first war goal and start it again. Why? Because we are now already justifying one war goal, the one that was the second one. I know this sounds confusing, but it makes perfect sense if you think about it. And now our first war goal is our second war goal, and they will both take the same amount of time, although we have wasted some political power on that, but it's worth it, which is why you need to have some political power banked up. Now, if my assumptions are correct, this should let us attack them without the Allies interfering. We're going to wait and see. If I started justifying half a year or a year later, it might have been too late, because the world tension would go up and the Allies would actually start guaranteeing. Now, in this particular scenario, we might not even win the war, because I have not been researching anything and not modified my army, and essentially we might be inferior at the moment. The world tension has gone up, but it has not gone up enough for the Allies to start guaranteeing. But if you wait too long with your justifications, it might be too high and you'll get blocked. The war goals will not finish at the exact same moment. There's a 5-day gap between them, but that is not a problem. And if one of those countries had an advisor that makes it more difficult to justify war goals, I told you to check that, then you just justify on the most difficult country first, the one with the advisor, and then start the other one at the same time, but do not do the cancellation move. There will be like a 50-day gap between those two war goals being complete, and the war goal is valid for 2 months, so you will still be able to attack them at the same time. Our first war goal is ready, and the other will be ready in 5 days. And then we declare. Alright, both war goals are ready. Now, the important bit is to declare war while paused at the exact same moment. Also, if you want to join a faction, in our case the Axis, because we went fascist, what you need to do is ask to join the faction while paused. And then slow the game down and unpause just for 1 hour so the Allies don't have enough time to react. Okay, pause again, and now declare both wars. Attack Greece, attack Yugoslavia, do not call your allies in, because this will turn to a world war if you do, or Germany will just steal all your territory. Now, Romania should join this war. Yeah, you can speed it up now. Kingdom of Romania has joined, yes. And see, we're at war with Romania, Yugoslavia, and Greece as Poland without the allies intervening at all. This is the first method. Do it early and keep a low profile, so the world tension is not enough for them to guarantee people. The war itself isn't really relevant here, and I haven't been researching anything on or hiring any advisors or whatever, so it's going to be rather difficult, but it doesn't really matter, I suppose. We were just showing you how to declare the war, not how to win it. Now, you have to be careful with attacking countries that are democratic, like Czechoslovakia, because they will have a chance of joining the allies if the world tension is high enough, so you have to be cautious with that. But with the method I showed you, you can essentially attack any two small to medium countries before the whole world war starts. So you can do like two Baltic nations, or like I did, Greece and Yugoslavia, Greece and Bulgaria and Romania, because Romania is a guarantor there, or Turkey, Bulgaria and Romania, because Romania guarantees Turkey, or Belgium and the Netherlands, perhaps, Denmark, Sweden. You know, the list is very long. Now, if I were to attack someone like Turkey, they would get guaranteed by the Allies. Let me show you. So we have caused enough world tension, boom, Britain guarantees. So we have to be cautious with what you do. I'm not winning the war because, yeah, my troops suck. I haven't invested in them at all. Now, the second option. Fascist and communist countries will not get guaranteed. You can use that to your advantage. For example, if I were to start justifying a war goal on Italy, the world tension would skyrocket from that, of course, but they're not going to get guaranteed by anyone. Now, theoretically, they could join the Axis, but I am already in the Axis, so they wouldn't. So I can, for example, conquer Yugoslavia, and from there take Germany and move into Italy together. Fascist and communist countries will not get guaranteed. Now, for another method, let's move on to the 1939 start, so we don't have to wait that long. We're going to play as, let's say, Romania. Now, Romania is non-aligned and normally wouldn't be able to justify war goals. However, the world tension will soon reach 50, which is the cutoff point for non-aligned people. So yeah, let's just wait, and now it's 55. What king's mistress, whatever, doesn't really matter in this context. So, if I start justifying a war goal on Hungary, which is currently fascist, they would not get guaranteed. They could theoretically join the Axis once we start fighting, but that will depend on other factors. If you are a member of the faction, nothing bad will happen to you, and usually if you're not a member of the faction, they'll probably not join anyway, until they do the focus. The third method is to make sure the allies are busy. Germany attacks Poland, and this is the perfect moment to start justifying your unrelated war goals. Germany is at war with France and United Kingdom. This is what is important to us, because now France and United Kingdom are busy. Up until a certain point, they will spend their political power on making sure their countries are capable of fighting Germany. So they will not have enough free political power to guarantee independence. I decided to give it a few days because in this start we'll start with tons of political power, so I thought they might want to do it to send it somewhere else. Now we can start justifying, and at this point, when they are busy, you don't have to do the simultaneous thing. You can just do one after the other. So let's say we want to attack Bulgaria. Boom, justify. And Yugoslavia. Boom, justify. It's usually good to justify two at once, and you finish the first attack and start justifying another, and then you can chain attack a lot of people. See, they're not being guaranteed. Now I'm going to wait until the war goal is ready to show you that they are indeed not being guaranteed. Normally I would probably attack Hungary first, but it's pretty obvious Hungary would not get guaranteed because they're fascist. Hungary doesn't start fascist, so if you want to attack them like that, you will have to monitor their government. Let's send our guys to the Bulgarian border. Now at this point the Allies are still busy dealing with Germany, which means they should not interfere in our affairs. Keep in mind that will change after a year or two. Around 41, 42 they start guaranteeing again. Also France, when France switches into Free France, they sometimes do it at that point. Blitzkrieg seems to not be happening somehow. Our war goal is almost ready, and it's ready. See, no guarantee. We can attack. Because the Allies were busy. Now again, I was not building troops or whatever, so our army isn't very strong, but they should be able to beat them. And annexing Bulgaria or puppeting them will give us extra world tension, of course, but probably not enough to cause any trouble. And we can take all states of Bulgaria, and that increased the world tension again, but at this point it doesn't matter anymore. We can move on to Yugoslavia. Soviet Union demands Bessarabia. Yeah, we have to give it to them. And Germany has won against France. Now, attacking Yugoslavia in particular can be problematic because they will sometimes get events that will cause them to join either the Axis or the Allies. But as you can see, they have not been guaranteed, and we could pretty much do whatever we wanted. Directly after the war between Germany and the Allies starts, you have a few years where you can do that, you can attack. There was an event and I gave them land, it doesn't matter. I'm quitting this game as soon as we can attack Yugoslavia. This is just a demonstration. So essentially, you can justify war goals and attack whoever you want for the first possibly 2 or 3 years after the initial war between Germany and the United Kingdom starts, if you don't call your allies in. And the war goal against Yugoslavia is ready, and they have not been guaranteed by anyone. There you go. And they will not be able to join any faction right now, unless they get an event. Yugoslavia sometimes gets events, which is why it is a little bit problematic to fight or puppet. Anyway, that is it for this method. Let's take a 1939 Germany start. Now, this is not a particularly good start, I suppose, because we have done the Danzig or war focus, and there's going to be an event immediately, and the war with Poland would start. But let's say we don't want to do that. Let's say we want to attack Belgium and the Netherlands instead. Now, if I were to start justifying a war goal on them, Britain and France would immediately guarantee their independence. But there's a few things we can do. If I wait a little bit so that they spend their excess political power, now what I can do is lock them out of guaranteeing because of lack of political power. And how do we do that? Well, let's just take a country we don't really care about. Let's say Ireland, because, you know, we don't really have a navy. We're not going to be able to land in Ireland. We justify a war goal on Ireland. And they should immediately guarantee them. See? Guarantee. Cancel justification. Who's next? Portugal. Justify. Will they guarantee? Oh, they didn't. Apparently they are out of political power already. Okay, let's cancel. Now, theoretically, this doesn't always work because they will regain the political power over time, and this is kind of a last resort. I prefer not to use it because you waste a large amount of political power. But if I now start justifying on Belgium and the Netherlands, it is entirely possible that the Allies will not have enough political power to guarantee their independence, and I will be able to proceed undisturbed. Possibly, but this doesn't always work, so it's something you have to consider. Still no guarantee. Now again, this is not a sure thing, this method, because very often they will gain enough political power in the meantime while you are doing that, and they didn't, and then they will guarantee. But sometimes it works, especially if you are already at war with a major country, like, for example, you start fighting China to get quicker war justifications, and then you can justify cheaply and quickly. And this way you can lock them out by justifying on some other countries. They guarantee them, they have no political power, you quickly justify and conquer. That usually works. They have guaranteed Belgium now, so this is not a sure thing. Now let me show you the same method, but with the China workaround. Let's do the same start. 1939 Germany. First, we justify on China. China is already at war and they have their own alliance, so the Allies will not be able to guarantee them or do anything else about it. Now, once we start the war with China, we will get the bonus for being at war with a major country, which means we'll be able to justify war goals very quickly. So let's suppose our goal is to conquer Netherlands and Belgium without starting the Second World War. Germany is just a good example to use because essentially everyone we justify on will be guaranteed by the Allies. But it pretty much works with any other country. So we declare war on China. Well, what does that mean? Well, we are at war with the whole alliance, and that means two things. We can justify war goals very quickly, and also everyone we attack will join the Chinese United Front, which can actually be a bit of a problem because that might cause Japan to take stuff in Europe. But, yeah, whatever. Let's do the same countries we did before. Justify war goal on Ireland. There's a guarantee. Cancel. Justify war goal on Portugal. Will there be a guarantee? If you want to be sure, you can wait a little bit until they guarantee, but it should theoretically be okay. Justify against Netherlands, 40 days. Now, if Britain gets enough political power within those 40 days, they will guarantee the Netherlands. But if you time this right, I think a guarantee costs, what, 100? No, 25. So, now, if Britain gets enough political power to guarantee their independence in the meantime, they might do that, but it works sometimes. This is a fallible method. It doesn't always work. It only works sometimes. War goal almost done and still no justification. No guarantee. See, we have our war goal, and we can attack the Netherlands without involving the rest of the allies. However, they have joined the Chinese United Front, which can be a bit of a problem. Now, let's see if we do this. Will you get guaranteed? No, they don't still... Ah, see? They had enough political power. We just wasted their political power, and now we can do Belgium. See? No guarantee again. That's it. That's how you do it. Alright, Belgium has capitulated, and Netherlands have capitulated. Now, the possible downside of that solution is that we are now at war with China, but I suppose it doesn't really matter. It is a method. However, this will not always work and can cost a lot of political power. So this is my least favorite method of avoiding guarantees. However, you could mix and match and get your perfect outcome. And that is about it. Now, there's one final thing. There's one final method. If you have a war goal, and you join the allies with that war goal, you can still use it even if they're guaranteed, and you'll be fine. Now, we will rarely see the final method, but just to demonstrate it, let's start as Germany in 1939 again. We already have the war goal against Poland, and it will not expire for a long time. I'm going to use console commands to switch to democracy. Here you go, event political 20. Democrats demand referendum. We have switched to democracy. Now, we are no longer ruled by Hitler, but we still have fascist support because we cheated it. Anyway, now we want to join the allies. Ask to join faction. We can't do that because we are already in a faction. However, now that we have switched ideologies, Italy will leave our faction. So let's wait a moment. All right. Elections fascist majority. Ah, crap. We'll just redo that. Has Italy left our faction yet? It has not. Okay, and I need to increase our democratic support first. That will be a different event. We need to use the event political 15. See, just a few times. This will tank our stability, but doesn't really matter. Okay, our diplomatic support is now 60. Now let's use the political event that will switch us to democracy. That was 20. Yeah, I was experimenting with a different one. However, I forgot that they have been, disabled in the current version of the game. So now we are democratic Germany. Let's join the allies. Again, yes, we need to wait for Italy to leave our faction. Which they will do, since we no longer share an ideology. See? They have changed, they have left our faction. And now that we have only us and our puppets, we can dismantle the faction. The Axis no longer exists, and now we want to join the allies. Ask to join faction. Can't do that because world tension is only at 80. Alright, let's now increase the world tension. Here you go, world tension is high. We have generated it, so it's a bit of a problem, but we can join the faction now. Boom, we have joined the allies. But we still... Now, this is cheated, but you can do it normally, but it's just a lot of work. Now, we still have our war goal against Poland, and Poland is guaranteed by the allies, which are our allies. So, if I attack now... I attacked Poland, and our alliance with Britain and France is more important than their guarantee of Poland, so we were able to just attack. Now, I haven't prepared my armies or anything, because actually fighting the war is not the point here. There you go, this should be enough. So, yeah, that's how you do it. Again, I did use console commands to do that, but just to show you that it can be done. And I have successfully done it in a few games. Normally, it's just very rare that it will happen, and in most cases, you will need to have an event war goal or just time it very, very well. Still, it is possible. Okay, that is it for this video. These are the ways to avoid guarantees. Especially the first one can be used early on to build up a lot of strength. That is it. Thank you for watching. I hope this was helpful, and I will see you soon. Goodbye.